We just described to you briefly how a small robot can attack on its own control a designated nest of processionnary caterpillars. Such a robot exists. We gave it a name, DROCATEX, which is also the name of our registered trademark. DRO for drone, CAT for caterpillar, X for exterminator. Using commercially available components and a few 3D printer manufactured parts, we progressively built and improved a prototype demonstrator of DROCATEX, with a small commercially available drone carrying an independent removable automaton. It is independent of the carrier drone, and it has its own power supply, a battery, which is also an adjustable counterweight balancing the flying prototype. Controlled by an Arduino electronic unit, it is now a fully developed device working very well. For this prototype, we have chosen an independent removable automaton which controls the patented electromechanical device, associating a gripper with a cutting tool. In early 2017, we chose to carry this automaton and find its target, a DJI drone, the Maverick Pro Platinum, because of its shape, its small size, its richness in sensors, and its software accessible through a powerful SDK. 4 years ago, no other company was selling an equivalent product or software. This is no longer the case today. The Maverick Pro Platinum is no longer the ideal drone to carry our automate, which is almost as heavy as it is. However, with this Maverick, our robot prototype flies, but only for a short time, and the Maverick suffers a lot. He is carrying a load far too heavy, and should fly with more powerful motors. It can take off, climb vertically, and maneuver for a few moments. But the Maverick's engines are constantly running overspeed. They quickly become very hot, especially the front ones. The drone is difficult to handle because the controls do not respond well. Then, not at all, and it quickly loses altitude. The battery develops too much current and discharges very quickly, losing 25% of its charge in 1.5 minutes. All the alarms on the control console are panicking. It must land in emergency to avoid frying the motors and electronics. The text of a patent application contains a pseudocode, detailed description of the process to be followed by the drone software to find and approach its target on its own. By this, only one of the possible methods or processes, while there are many other ones, and our patent application does not make it a claim. Coding this process will not be difficult for a development engineer working on navigation, obstacle avoidance, target designation, and tracking software for drone familiar to him. The problem to be solved are already known to him and solved in one or more ways. He has at his disposal already written, tested, and validated software models that he just has to assemble in another way. Such a development could even be an exciting project for an intern student. Much less easily, and especially much more slowly, only after choosing another more powerful carrier drone, or at least its manufacturer, and after learning to master the SDK programming language that is specific to it, we could write the necessary lines of code. By adding an independent, removable controller to an existing carrier drone, it is not at all the optimal configuration for DROCATEX. Are necessary to build a specialized drone, which includes the gripper and the cutting tool from its conception. The small drones, known as leisure drones, available on the market today at the purchase price of around €1,000, are designed for aerial photography and video, and to perform missions that are sometimes very complex. They are often foldable, to be carried in a backpack. They carry expensive equipment, a very high-definition camera, a gyroscopic stabilized gimbal, etc., whose sophistication is useless to simply find a nest of processionnary caterpillars, which is just a big white spot, practically motionless, a very easy target to identify on a dark background. Within a maximum range of about 50 metres, approach it slowly until it makes contact, possibly take some pictures, then return to the starting point. It's not really complex. In an industrial application, keeping all the sensors, the software for the automatic control of an existing well-equipped drone, and by adding the control of the motors of the weeding automate, it is possible to design a homogeneous unit, more compact, lighter, and significantly cheaper, with a single battery positioned very far back, with no counterweight and no additional electronic box. An existing chassis could probably be used, reinforced and lengthened, with more powerful motors protected, for example, by a strong propeller cage. Today, all the companies building and selling 4-rotor drones have products and software that can serve as a basis for the development of such robot, and all the necessary skills and resources to industrialize and commercialize it. Even more importantly, for companies developing a new uses for UAV, DROCATEX robot can open a new global niche in their core business with a unique, customized, tailor-made original application whose sales potentially could explode their turnover. In France alone, there are tens of thousands of potential users: green space maintenance companies, the National Forestry Office, and town halls. As soon as it becomes available, they will buy this unique tool, modern, innovative, safe, and very simple to use by anyone. In March 2019, we filed in France for a patent application entitled "A Scaling Robot to Eliminate Processionnary Caterpillar Nests." The PCT application was also filed in March 2020. The initial application was published in France in September 2020, with a search report positive for all its claims. The French patent was granted in February 2021. We do not intend to exploit our patent ourselves, and we would very much like to concretize its assignment in a form to be discussed with a French or international company. We are looking for partners to industrialize and commercialize it by concretizing its transfer under a form to be discussed. If you are interested, please write to us at the following email address: robot-master@drocatex.com, and we will contact you. Thank you very much for listening to us.